Let's continue to simplify rational exponents. Rational expressions, I'm sorry, rational expressions. Let's go back to Algebra 1 for just a second with our previous work with exponents, and let's talk about how we would do this. 3x to the fifth squared. Well, we remember when we were working with exponents, we would take a coefficient or our normal numbers, the 3 there, and we would actually do what it says to do. So when it says take 3 to the second power, we actually would do that. And 3 to the second power is going to be 9. And then the exponent to an exponent, we're actually going to have to multiply that, right? So 5 times 2 is going to be 10, and this would be 9x to the 10th. Okay, now something else to think about, we've got that in our mind. Remember that the square root of something, another way of saying the square root of x, we can write that with an exponent. Square root is just an exponent, and that exponent is 1/2. All right, so because of that, we know when we take a square root, if we have a number inside of a square root, we're actually going to have to take the square root of it. If we have an exponent inside a square root, we're not going to take the square root of that exponent, but we're actually going to divide it, or like multiply by 1/2. So divide. Now let's look at this first one. It'll probably be a little bit easier as we start to work these. Square root of 36 x to the 18th y to the 10th. Now, let's look at this first one. The square root of 36 x to the 18th y to the 10th. Now, square root is like a second root. We need two things that multiply together to get that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to imagine that there's a 2 out there. A square root is a second root. So here's what I need. I need to take the square root of 36. The square root of 36, we know that. That's just 6. Now, what am I going to do with those exponents? Well, with the exponents, remember the exponent rules are different. We're not going to take the square root of that 18. But what we're actually going to do is we're going to divide by 2. That is an ugly arrow. We're going to divide by 2. So what's 18 divided by 2? 18 divided by 2 is going to be 9. So that's going to be x to the 9th. 10 divided by 2 is going to be 5. So that's going to be y to the 5th. And that's what we've got. 6x to the 9th, y to the 5th. Take the square root of the number and then divide the exponents by 2. Easy enough, right? Let's look at the next one. Next one is going to get harder, okay? First thing, the 27. Square root of 27, I don't know. But remember how we can simplify this. Square root of 27 is just the square root of 9 times the square root of 3. And if I want to simplify that right now, I can. The square root of 9 is just 3. So we can say that the square root of 27 is 3 root 3. And then we have to divide the exponents, right? We have 6 divided by 2. That's going to be x to the 3rd power. And now we have a problem here. So we've got y to the 13th. 13 divided by 2 is actually going to be 6.5. 6.5. Well, that's not going to work out very well for this. Let me show you. You can kind of think about 6.5, but let me give you another rule. Let me give you another way to think about this. Do you remember back in elementary school when you took 13 divided by 2? And you would say that that was 6 remainder 1. All right? 13 divided by 2 is 6 remainder 1. I want us to think about it like that. And I want you to watch how I'm writing this as I speak it, okay? So this is going to be 13 divided by 2 is y to the 6th remainder 1. Okay, so whatever we have as the remainder, we're going to put under the square root sign. Okay, so this was 13 divided by 2 is 6 remainder 1. All right, so let's think about it. That may not make sense intuitively, but that's how it is, okay? And you can think, because remember we knew that the square root was the same thing as like x going to the 1/2 power. Maybe that helps. I hope that helps. I hope you understand this. If not, this might just be one of those things where you have to memorize, okay? So we're going to put the remainder under a square root sign. Okay, now we're almost done. The only thing that I want to do yet is I want to put all of my square roots together. So let's do this. I'm going to put my normal stuff out front. I've got the 3. I've got the x to the 3rd. I've got a y to the 6th. And then underneath my square root sign, I have a 3 and a y. And that is my answer. Let's look at the next one. So the square root of 18, that's going to be root 9 times root 2. And root 9 is 3. So root 18 is just going to be 3 root 2. Now, x to the 1st, 1 divided by 2 is going to be 0. It's just a remainder of 1. So I'm going to write remainder of 1x. And then what's 9 divided by 2? Well, 9 divided by 2 is going to be 4. So I've got y to the 4th. 9 divided by 2 is 4. Remainder 1. Now let's put our stuff, bring our stuff that's not under a square root sign. Let's bring that out front. 3y to the 4th. Let's put everything, all of our other square roots together. Root 2xy. And this is our answer. So 18, the square root of 18, xy to the 9th. 18 was 3 root 2. So I've got that in there. X is just going to be root x. And y to the 9th, 9 divided by 2 is 4, remainder 1. Let's do some more. These are tricky. It's going to be exactly like what we did before, except this time on this page we don't have square roots, we have cube roots or fourth roots of this. So this first one, there's no number in there for us to take the 3rd root of it, but the exponent. So we're going to have to divide. So what is 7 divided by 3? If you think back to elementary, how we said that, 7 divided by 3 is going to be 2, remainder 1. Whoops, almost started writing a y. 2, remainder 1, and I have to make that a cube root since that's what we have out there as a cube root. Okay? Let me go back and just redo this. X to the 7th, the cube root of that, we need to take 7 divided by 3. So that's going to be 7 divided by 3 is 2, remainder 1. Now watch this one. This one's new. 8. 8 divided by 3. 8 divided by 3. 8 divided by 3 is 2, remainder 2. That one's a new one. That's the first time we've had a remainder of 2. And if the remainder is 2, do you see what I did? I made that a y squared, all right, in there. So now let's put the radicals together and put everything else out front. So this total answer, the final answer, is going to be x squared y squared, using both of those, times the cube root of x y squared. Okay? Now, I know that looks crazy. I mean, it's kind of looks like I might as well be writing hieroglyphics here, right? This is it looks crazy, but all we have to do is remember where to put the remainders, that we divide the exponents, and that where we need to put the remainders. So let me just write this up here again so that I have more space. All right, that's the answer for that first one. Let's look at this next one. So we have the cube root of 64, x to the 99th, y to the 15th. So I need to divide these by 3. The exponents, the number coefficient here, I need to take the cube root of it. But that's great news here that we know what that is. The cube root of 64 is just 4, just plain old 4. 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. So the cube root of 64 is 4. Now divide these exponents. 99 divided by 3, that's really nice. That's just going to be an even 33. And 15 divided by 3, that's just going to be an even 5. So this is awesome. We're done right there. Let's look at the next one. The next one is a fourth root no different. The rules stay the exact same. Divide the exponents. So we have to take x to the 7th. So 7 divided by 4 is going to be 1, remainder 3. Okay? 1 remainder 3. How about y to the 18th? 18 divided by 4 is going to be 4 remainder 2. How about the last one? Z to the 21st. 21 divided by 4. 21 divided by 4 is 5 remainder 1. So let's simplify this. So it looks like our normal stuff that's not under a radical sign is going to be x to the 1st, y to the 4th, z to the 5th, times the square root, or I'm sorry, the 4th root of x to the 3rd, y squared, z. And I kind of ran out of room. That got squished down there. I'm sorry about that. But hopefully you see. All right? That is not an easy problem. Let's do one more. Okay, I almost feel like I need a pause to have a mental break here, because this isn't easy. So this time we're doing 5th roots. Okay, that sounds crazy, but the rules are going to stay the same. All right, just take the 5th root of that number and then divide the exponents by 5. That's all we have to do. So 32, the 5th root of 32, actually this comes out nice and easy. That's just going to be 2. Okay, now we need to take the 5th root of x to the 15th. So 15 divided by 5, that's just going to be 3. Well, that's so far so good. And how about y? Y to the 45? 45 divided by 5, that's just going to be 9. A nice even 9, no remainders, no nothing. That's our answer. That's it, because everything divided out or took the 5th root evenly. So that's awesome. Let's look at this next one. The 9th root. Ninth root? Are we kidding? Are you kidding me right now? Well, the rules stay the same. So let's just, there's no numbers in there to have to take the 9th root of. So with the exponents, all we have to do is divide. So this is x to the 30th. So 30 divided by 9 is going to be 3. Remainder what? 30 divided by 9 is going to be 3. Remainder 3. Okay, how about the y's? The y to the 21. Whoops, oh, you know what? I made a mistake up here. This wasn't the 3rd root. That was the 9th root of x. Okay, how about the y's? 21 divided by 9. 21 divided by 9 is 2. Remainder 3. 2 remainder 3. Okay, so 21 divided by 9 was 2, remainder 3. Now let's go ahead and simplify this so that we have all the radicals at the back. So we would have x to the 3rd, y squared, times the 9th root of x to the 3rd, y to the 3rd. Now, if you want to leave it here, I'm totally fine with this. If you want to get kind of crazy, let me just show you one thing. Let me show you how we could simplify this answer a little bit more and see. You see how 3 and 9, if you thought of that as a fraction, both of those could be reduced, and it would have to be both of these. But we could reduce this to this if we really wanted to. X to the 1st, y to the 1st. Maybe you see it, and I'm not going to teach that. Maybe you can see it and you can know how to do that just like it is, but I'm not going to teach it. And if you stop right here, I'm going to be totally fine with this answer right there. All right? Now, I know that this is tricky, but I know you can do it. It's not above us. It's not beyond us. Take whatever root it is of the number that's in there, the coefficient, the normal number, And then with those exponents, we're just going to have to divide it, okay? And put the remainder underneath the radical sign, all right? I know you got it. Good luck.